Hey guys, Dark Humility here. You can always catch me at www.twitch.tv/Dark Humility for 6 to 7 days a week, usually of Diablo 2 action of some kind. We'll be playing hardcore group found on September 23rd when the game launches D2R. This is on the eve of the end of beta, and we have just finished getting an Amazon 230 to show you guys all of the skills on the Amazon, the visual effects and whatnot. I will be zooming in and out and whatnot, and I'll switch back to Legacy to do some comparisons in case, of course, you guys want to see exactly what they did to the Amazon skills. So, without further ado, let's check them all out and demo them as necessary. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so let's start with a pretty easy one. Jab. Alright, it's jab. Here we go. I like the sound. Alright, so pretty straightforward. Skill doesn't really have any different, visual effects. It's a melee attack. If we go in and out, see, it looks pretty much the same thing. It's actually almost identical, so they really didn't do much to this skill at all. But it's pretty neat. It's nice and updated. Alright, here we go. Alright, Impale. Now let's start with some boring ones, because, everyone wants to see these ones for sure. Does Impale still work? Oh my goodness. That sound. Wow, that is a unique sound. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah! 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 Does she make this sound in OG? Kinda, yeah. Kinda. It sounds a bit more pronounced though in the HD version. Dude, that sounds like she is gonna kill someone. She's like putting all of her power in that point of that spear, man. Alright. Fair enough. Alright, Fend. It is possible to scroll the zoom, yeah. You just gotta use your mouse wheel or whatever. That's what I'm doing. Alright, here's Fend. Fend you can do while completely surrounded. It's kind of hard to see though when they burn me in the fire, but anyway, it's these skills are pretty standard. They're pretty much the same. Very, very cool stuff. Alright, sweet. There you go. Convincing. Very convincing skills. Alright, Power Strike. Alright, so this is where some of the visuals start to matter a bit more. Try out Power Strike. Alright, let's pay very close attention here. Alright, so it basically has the lightning effect on the tip of the spear, kind of like when a Zealer hits with some lightning damage. It's not too different. Holy Shock Zealer would do like something similar, or Vengeance. But definitely looks pretty strong though. No doubt. Let's see here. What does it look like if I change it? Yeah, I'd say it's actually more defined in the D2R version. The electricity effect of Power Strike is actually definitely improved, so that's kind of nice. Pretty cool stuff. I like the electrical effects in D2R in general. Some of them might be a little too thin or less defined, but I'd say that's a pretty good one. Alright, I guess we'll go with Charge Strike, why not? Alright, Charge Strike, let's go. Nope, you can scroll. You can scroll. I didn't think so. So, these look like charge bolts from the sorceress. But on the tip of the spear. That's pretty cool, right? Looks like electricity. What do you guys think in the chat? You think that looks pretty cool? I think it looks pretty cool. The bolts are obviously a lot thicker in the vanilla version. A bit more well-defined, but they also look a lot less like electricity, so... I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but, you know. It's pretty cool, right? Alright, Lightning Strike. Let's go Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike. Right here you go, Lightning Strike. Oh, wow. Look at that. So that lightning is pretty well defined, It arcs. I'd say though, yeah, that's pretty beautiful stuff, right? Right, I feel for sure, man. Putting those back muscles in it. Oh yeah. So one thing about D2R is you'll notice that when you attack in D2R, the movements are way more pronounced. Like they're putting their whole body into the movements. Now I don't know why that change is made explicitly, but you'll notice that with like almost every ability. If I go back to this vanilla though, you can see the original Lightning Strike. And, you know, it looks like chain lightning, right? Okay. That's pretty neat, right? I really like that. Electrical effects are pretty nice in general. Maybe you could make them a tiny bit thicker. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but overall they're pretty nice. I'd say in alpha they definitely were pretty thin, pathetic looking somewhat. Alright, Alright, so just for the sake of being thorough, of course, we showed you guys Poison Javelin the whole time, because that's what we were leveling up as. But, we'll do it for YouTube. Here you go. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Look at that. Alright, so that's Poison Javelin. Now, Poison Javelin, the green effect looks really cool. I will say that. But there's some abilities in D2R, I put them in the category of maybe it needs to be a bit fatter, maybe it needs to be a bit bigger. Because if you look at the original effect, like you can see how much more defined it is, right? Like in the original game, you can see a lot more of it. Whereas if I do this, it's there, but it's kind of hard to see. Like, it's a little too wispy, you know? This is definitely one of those abilities that I think they could define a bit better. I think if they did a pass over all the skills and kind of define some of those too wispy, too tiny effect type of things, they could definitely improve the effects quite a bit. That is definitely one of those cases, I'd say. It's okay, but it's maybe I could see some improvements for that one for sure. All right, lightning bolt. All right, lightning bolt. Here we go. Another electricity effect. The real hitbox. And that's fine and all. I mean, I think it also needs to be clear that you can see the attack, right? Alright, so this is lightning bolt. I mean, that's I like the lightning bolt. I actually do like it a lot. That's really cool. The original effect, of course, you know, is just like that, which is just like lightning fury. Just kind of neat. Alright, Plague Javelin. Alright, is there really much of a difference between Plague and Poison Javelin? Well, it definitely spreads a lot more, so you can definitely see the spread, which is what actually happens with Plague Javelin. I still think, though, that the clouds themselves are just a little too... I don't know, a little too weak. Like, look at the original one. Look how crazy it is. You could actually see all the clouds. This one is kind of, I don't know. It's just a little harder to see. Looks a little, slightly underwhelming. What's up, Tasty Quiddles? How you doing? Right, exactly. Similar colors, exactly. That's I think that's not a. I think that's a totally sane thing to think about that ability for sure. And that's my assessment of it, at least. And then finally, last but not least, the strongest ability in the game, and the one you really want to make sure looks really good. Well, not the strongest ability in the game. Sorry, the strongest ability on the Amazon. Lightning Fury. All right, you guys want to see Lightning Fury? Lightning Fury looks really cool. I don't think I'd be the best test for that, Darwally, but you know, sure. Oh, are you asking that? Oh, you're asking. All right, so as you can see, Lightning Fury would be more beastly with more bolts for sure, but you can kind of get the idea though. You fire the lightning bolt and it splits off. That's freaking cool. I think it's possible that the lightning bolts that split off of monsters could be a little bit more well defined, but I think it's pretty close at this point. It's hard to make this too much better. That's pretty sick. That's just a sick ability, like straight up. If we go test the original, and see, the original also looks really sick. Just in a different way, though. There you go. Cool stuff. Alright, there's Lightning Fury. Alright. What should we go up next? I guess we'll do passive skills. So, passive skills,
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
I guess I can show myself dodging. These ones you literally can't show at all. Like, these don't... They're not visual skills. Alright, let's show me dodging. If they can. I think the mercenary's gonna kill them all, though. Damn. I killed him too fast. Okay. Mercenary's too strong. Alright,
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Yeah, there you go. Huh. Same would happen here. Max block is actually kind of hard to test this on. Anyway. It's pretty rough. It's not water porch. I guess eventually the follow. Welcome to the cold Xana. Not even buttery as well. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so I'm dodging here and there. So a dodge, when you're in the dodge animation, you can't do anything else. You're just locked in the animation, but then you don't take damage. It's pretty cool stuff. If I move around, of course, I can also dodge in other ways. Yeah, there you go. Different dodges for different movement patterns and attacking and standing still and whatnot. Good stuff. Alright. Inner sight. Inner sight, alright. So, let's do inner sight. Inner sight is That's actually kind of cool looking. I really like that blue-green effect there. Huh. That's kind of neat. Inner sight. Thank you so much for the raid. It might have worked. I don't know. Alright, that looks pretty good. Lower that monster defense. And they look all sparkly, see? Alright, so in the original game it looks pretty similar. It's maybe not quite as sparkly. I don't see why the effect couldn't be as big as the original one, but, you know, it's close enough. It looks more well-defined, so it's not too bad. Alright, slow missiles. Wow. There's her sound. That's a pretty cool looking skill level. I mean, that's what slow missiles looks like originally. Slow missiles if the enemies have range attacks. I like that. I like it. I like that expanding Nova. That's a good skill. I feel like they did that one very well. Alright, Decoy. Well, that's actually kind of cool. Nice. Decoy. It's kind of cool, right? Definitely a little more flashy, I would say, in the original. But, you know, it works, I guess. I mean, you don't really need to make it flashy, but it's definitely a lot less flashy in the original, so there is that. And then last but not least, for the passive skills that are visual effects, we have the Valkyrie. Now, we had some people in the chat that are very curious about this one. I'm actually kind of curious to see how this looks, too. Now, I've seen, like, a picture of it, but a picture is not really the same thing. Kind of want to see how it looks like when it walks around and everything, so let's check it out. Alright, here we go. Wow. Wow, what the? Look at that glowy effect. Wow, that sound is maybe a little too loud. Wow. She's tasty. The only problem is, isn't that glowing effect a little too, like, look how the glow looks like in the original game. Isn't this gonna be like the set glow too? I feel like the glow is maybe not glowy enough. I feel like it maybe needs to be a little bit larger of a radius, but see, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty close. Kind of. It does look very nice, though. New Corleone. How you doing, New Corleone? Hope you're doing well. I like the old one. Yeah, the old one has more... It's more glowy. I kind of like the glowy. I think I prefer the older one to the newer one, to be honest, slightly. I see the difference. I do understand where they're going with this one here. Like, I can see it. Let's take away the map, actually. I do see this. I understand it, but I also feel like it needs to be enhanced. Like in the original one, you're a Super Saiyan, right? You look like a Super Saiyan from, like, Dragon Ball Z, and then this one's like... I don't know. It is nice. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I feel like it could look more like a Super Saiyan. I don't think that's a bad thing. I kind of like the original one, but yeah, it's okay. I wanted to see that too, so let's check that out. All right. It's wow. I do like the new one. I think I do like the effective creating one. The effective creating one is actually pretty freaking awesome. I think just like with a lot of effects, though, it's too... The glowy effects, or just in general, the particle effects might just be a little too scrunched. Maybe expand the radius of them just slightly, and then it would be just fine. I mean, that's kind of what I think about this, so... but it's good enough. It's good enough. Yeah, it's too muted. A lot of the effects are a little too... I mean, there's a lot of effects in D2R that are kind of like this, right? A little too muted, maybe a little too constrained. I don't know. What's the word? Constrained? Constricted? I don't know. There's something about it, right? It's just like... It's not quite as close to the original as you'd want, and then in some sense, in some cases, it's hard to see even what it is because it's just too tiny. Sometimes you can't even see the effect at all, like in the case of battle orders on a barbarian, so that's definitely an example. Yeah, the rate exactly. I like the glow itself. I think the radius on it needs to be made a bit bigger so that it's more clear that it's a Valkyrie, right? So it's hard to tell the difference between that and an Amazon in some cases, and then that from like a Decoy, simply because they can be hard to see. And I can see how that could be hard to see in some scenarios. Alright, cold arrow. Cold arrow. Alright, chat. So, we have now come to the boson. Alright, the boson. Alright. So we got a bow here. Alright, so we're ready for this. What the... Whoa. Okay, I kind of like this effect, but it's super hard to see this effect. See, this is my problem, is that I really like a lot of these effects. I think they did a really good job on almost every effect in the game, but some of them are just super hard to see. Like, it's like, you gotta like squint, like, is that actually there? I mean, it looks cool, it's just cute little hails. No map, please. Yeah, sorry. I keep putting the map on by instinct. Alright, here you go. I don't know, the original ones are way more defined. See, defined is the problem, right? Like, it's not defined enough. It's like it's a cool concept for the look of it, right? But it's super hard to see, you know, right? D2 really was ahead, you know. D2 really thought about a lot of stuff, right? The original game. Tyona, what is that nonsense? Well, we're not playing that immediately now. We're actually recording a video right now, so... Actually, we can't do Glover music right now. Can you refund Tyona for the Glover music? Yeah, we actually can't do that at the moment. We're not, we can't do that. We're making YouTube videos. Yeah, unfortunately. Can you show Lightning Fury? I already did. You can, of course, catch it on the video when we're done, or you can check the VOD. Alright, so that is Cold Arrow. I am a little unconvinced by it. I think that it's a nice effect once again, but just like a lot of abilities, it's really hard to see. Alright, here we go. Alright, so... this is Ice Arrow. Also, just like Cold Arrow, very hard to see. Also, why is the Valkyrie so freaking loud? Alright, so Ice Arrow looks the same as Cold Arrow in the original game as well, and they are just hard to see in general. Alright. Freezing Arrow. So Freezing Arrow is the dominant skill. This is actually a build Freezing Arrow's on. You can check it out on Maxroll right now if you wanted to. Pretty cool idea, right? Right, so I do like the cold effects. I do like the shattering. I don't think The blue is blue enough. The blue is blue enough. It's pretty neat. Some people think it's not blue enough. Think it's like too teal or whatever. Once again, though, the arrow itself is, you know, hard to see. It's just hard to see compared to the original by a long shot. Magic arrow. Alright. Magic arrow. Let's check it out. So magic arrow is... People don't really use this, but, you know, if this ability ever becomes better, you know, it could be interesting. This is like the magic arrows from Legend of Zelda right here. I like the effects on it. I feel like it's similar. But once again, look in the original just how much more defined it is and how much clearer you can see firing it is. It's really thin. Now what I really like about this is you can see it even looks like an arrow when you fire them out. It's the same thing with the cold arrow. It looks... The arrow is very well defined. If they could just make it a little bit thicker, man, it would just be so much better. Can you lag the game with Poison Spear? I don't think so. Shatter animation is more saturated than the clouds created freezing arrow. Kind of hard to see the AoE of that skill. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I do agree with that too. Once again, it's kind of hard to see some of these things. Like, in general, they are nicely done. They just seem to be made maybe a bit more well-defined. It can just be hard to see some of these abilities, right? That's all, that's all. Alright, multi-shot.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
You know what I like about the multi-shot? Is it's firing the same color as the bow. That's really cool, actually. Let me see this here. Multi-shot looks cool, man. Slippy, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Cold Xander's Day. So, Kazam, how you doing? Okay, so what about the original? My only... It is still harder to see, yeah. Because, like, look, these arrows are much more clear, right? It is harder to see it. It can be very hard to see these arrows for sure. But it's a cool effect though. Once again, you know, it's just hard to see. Guided arrow. Definitely a pretty large theme with these bow skills. They look cool, but they're really hard to see. Alright, guided arrow looks very similar to magic arrow. Alright. I think we already kind of established what's going on there. That's cool. It's gonna home in on him. Alright, strafe. Alright, so strafe. This is like my favorite boson ability. Right, exactly, Zox, exactly. So now, I can't even see the arrows at all, honestly. Holy crap. Whereas if I turn it back to vanilla graphics, I can at least see the arrows. I can see the arrows, right? That's the struggle here, is that it's really hard to see the arrows. Really hard to see them. If I had one feedback about these arrow abilities, is that it's extremely hard to see them. Well, the game being dark itself is fine. It's just the abilities. Okay, I can kind of see them now. But like, if I start firing over the wall, like, forget about it. This is toast. Yeah, it's really hard to see it. Well, looks good though. I mean, if you can see it, which you can see it sometimes, you know, it looks good.
It is an
This is a common theme, though, in a lot of their graphics on the skills, though. Like, very... It's a common theme. It is a common theme. Alright, fire arrow. Well, this is a fire arrow. Fire might be fine because they made all the fire skills, except for, like, enchant. Look pretty well defined. Alright, at least in this game. Okay, see, fire arrow... Fire arrow, I can see fire arrow a lot better. But fire arrow is pretty similar to cold arrow. The only difference, I think, is that the fire is standing out over the dark background. Will I see them if I have glasses? Maybe. Yeah, I think so, Eyes. I think so. Fire arrow actually looks fine, though. Like, fire arrow looks similar, too, and it looks fine. You can see the fire arrows. The fire arrows have lighting, too. See, they got so many advantages, right? Fire arrow looks fine. Alright, let's go exploding arrow. Once again, you know, you can see the explosions and you can see the fire, you know, it's...
I need mana.
The reflection on the fire. Fire just looks nice in general in D2R. There's almost no fire problem skills at all. Well, that's immolation arrow. Immolation arrow is cool. So yeah, you know, immolation arrow is GG. Yeah, immolation arrow is actually beastly. Like, I like immolation arrow. Matter of fact, if you compare it to the original, like, it looks really cool, right? But the fire effects in D2R are just so good. They were too bright in the alpha, but they toned it down a bit, and now I think the fire is, like, just amazing. It's just really good in general. Props to the people that created the fire effects in this game. Insane. Alright, anyway. That's it. That's all of the Amazon skills visually. Zoomed in, zoomed out, messed around with a lot of them. GG stuff! Catch us on September 23rd playing that. We also play Project Diablo 2. And we also play vanilla. Mostly hardcore, but we also do some software content as well. You can, of course, check out our build guides as well on Maxroll and on YouTube. Alright, anyway. GG stuff. Always catch us at www.twitch.tv/darkhumility. This is towards the end of beta. Enjoy the rest of what remains of the remaining 7 hours, and I will see you guys next time for our review video. Alright, let's go. Alright, Dark Humility, over and out. Let's go.